All right, welcome to SYP Podcast. My name is Ian McNaughton, Biggie here. It's about 7:30, Sunday, September 5th. Big sports weekend coming off of. It's a big Sunday night. Pleased to be joined by SYP creator Scott. Scott, what's going on?
Oh, it's good to be back on the podcast. I'm finally settled in my place in Kelowna here. For some of you that don't recognize this background, I do recognize this background, sorry. SYP creator Kevin used to live in this exact room, and I have now taken his spot. So get ready for another 8 months of content from this room. Hopefully not all on Zoom. Hopefully it'll be some in-person stuff, but yeah, it should be good.
Who's the Canada jersey again? Remind me who's the Canada jersey behind you, or is that just a blank Canada jersey?
That one's a blank. That
Okay.
one to the left, the white one, that's actually got my name on it. As a
Mhm.
gift from the association after my last year of rep hockey in Squamish. My two up here, I got one that's got my name on the Anaheim Ducks one, and then
Oh,
one
yeah.
Kirby Doc.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I didn't get my number or anything retired from like Squamish after I was done playing hockey, so I don't know how fair that is, but whatever.
Not
I'm
even
not
Ring of
complaining.
Honor.
No, they didn't put me in a ring of honor. They didn't retire my number. They didn't let me. You know, at the Seahawks game, how they like some celebrity raises like the 12th man flag. They didn't let me do that before a Squamish Eagles game, which was kind of disappointing.
Too bad.
It sucks, but whatever. You can't always win.
Yep.
Let's talk about the week because it's been a busy week.
Yeah.
You came up to the Okanagan. You left on Tuesday from Squish.
Yep, from Squamish, yeah. Yeah, I played golf 4 days in a row, which is a blessing in its own right. Played Point Grey Monday, Topiano Tuesday, the Rise Wednesday, and the Harvest on Thursday. And then we played Sumac Ridge on Saturday. So it's 5 days, 5 golf rounds in 6 days.
5 and 6 days. So you're becoming a pro pretty much.
No.
I came up here on Thursday. I drove up from Squamish to Penticton, where I am now. If you're wondering, I'm just in somebody's bedroom. Basically in Penticton. I drove up Thursday. We golfed Saturday, which was pretty fun. We went at Sumac Ridge in Summerland, if you don't know. You pretty much called it a dinky course, which it was.
It is exactly what it is. Yeah, it's a dinky course, but it was fun. It was, it's definitely different from what I'm used to playing, and but it's definitely cool. It's good to work on the short game there, that's for sure.
Yeah, because it's what was it? I think the longest one, because I haven't golfed there since like middle school. I think the longest hole is like
on the card is like 208.
Yeah,
and that was a par 4.
Yeah, and that was the longest one.
Yep.
So that was a great time. You shot 36.
Yeah, 36 with, I think I had 7 bogeys and 2 pars or something like that.
I think I got a par. I got a 3 anyways to end the round, and I think I had the second worst score of our group. So not great, but could have been worse.
Could have been worse, yeah. Sure.
All right. So we hung out this weekend. We've golfed this week. We're both in the Okanagan now, which is cool. Let's talk about some actual golf with some real pros, not just us trying to pretend we're golfing. Sure. Patrick Cantlay, he won the Tour Championship.
Yes.
Congratulations to Patrick Cantlay. Did you catch the final round this afternoon of the Tour Championship?
No, I actually did. Yeah, I watched just like parts of it during work. I worked today. I worked kind of and watched John Rahm and Patrick Cantlay kind of battle it out, kind of go not really back and forth, but Rahm would always seem to be a shot behind. There was never like any back and forth. Cantlay just managed to hold him off. Yeah, I mean, great performance from Cantlay, no doubt. Rahm, man, did he give it a good shot, but he just couldn't get those putts to fall.
It's been such a two takeaways from today where Cantlay had the great week last week at the BMW Championship against Bryson, where I think he ended up finishing with 27 under, which is just ridiculous. And then this week was it 20 or 21 under that he ended up with?
Yeah, 21 under. But again, remember he started at 10 under. So
yeah,
right. So again, it gets just because how the Tour Championship works. You get seeded, and the number of seeded is how many strokes you are Like there's a certain ranking system, but yeah, Cantlay started at 10 under, so he was really only 11 under the tournament
for the whole tournament. But it was still a great performance,
Oh, no doubt.
nevertheless.
Yeah, no doubt.
And the other thing I wanted to mention was John Rahm having one of the most roller coaster like seasons.
Oh, 100%. I mean, this was a super season, right? So let's not forget this started like last like
The
July.
last US Open, like when Bryson won, that was when the season like started. They were still picking up from last year.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. So that's a long season for these guys.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So again, good for Cantlay to do it all. And Rahm had a great season. There were a bunch of guys that had good seasons and had good runs for sure. But I mean, not to state the obvious, Cantlay obviously had the best one, but Rahm was very good. I would throw Justin Thomas in there as having a good season. Schauffele, although he didn't technically win on tour, he had a great season too. He didn't win the gold medal at the Olympics, which was huge. But yeah, just there's a bunch of names. I mean, I'm probably missing a few. You have a list of guys that you want to talk about.
Well, I kind of wanted to do a kind of a quick recap of the golf season because I think we're gonna do a golf preview for the Ryder Cup here in a couple weeks with some special guests. But like, Hideki Matsuyama won the Masters this year. Yep. Mickelson won the PGA Championship this year. Rahm won the U.S. Open. Colin Morikawa won the Open Championship. Schauffele won the gold medal. Like, a lot of great golfers won events this year, which I thought was really cool. It doesn't feel like the parity like we see in like hockey. It actually felt like these guys truly deserve to win. And
say that exactly. It's not like, you talk about dynasties in golf, like that would be, to me, that screams Tiger Woods right there. But there isn't that type of like, oh my God, dynasty, but there's like 10 to 12 guys that could win every week, which is really cool. And that's something that's fun to see. And again, for the guys you mentioned there, well, maybe not Mickelson, but yeah, 4 of the 5 guys you mentioned there are guys that could win. If they get some putts to fall, they could win every week.
Oh, that's for sure.
Is, right? So, and all these guys are so good at this point. Like,
did you have a favorite moment from this season, from the golf season?
Oh,
I think mine's got to be the Mickelson PGA Championship.
It's a tough one.
I think the Mickelson win had the most hype. I think people were the most interested in the Mickelson win.
Yeah, well, no doubt he's an iconic figure on tour. A favorite moment, that's tough. I gotta think about that one. I was gonna say the Masters with Matsuyama and Schauffele, kind of that back and forth.
Sure.
That was really fun to watch. I mean, if we count DeChambeau's win at Winged Foot, that's technically last year.
Sure.
Part of this season, I would say that's one of them too. Yeah. I mean, I will say I did like the I think it was not the Genesis Open, but the Century, I think, TOC, whatever one they had, like the
in Hawaii.
No. Maybe it was that one. There was one where it was like Charlie and Tiger were in the same group. They played together, and then Justin Thomas and his dad.
Okay.
I forgot what it's called, but that was maybe early last year. I watched a good chunk of that. That was really cool to see too.
There you go.
Yeah, so the tournament with Justin Thomas and his dad, and then Tiger and his son, Charlie. Let me just check to see what that tournament was called.
Yeah, okay. I know, I remember which one you're talking about. I can't remember the actual name of it, but I do remember that moment.
PNC Championship.
Okay.
It was like something very familiar, and yeah, but the PNC Championship was like a two-man best ball with a PGA Tour player and a family member from their family. So yeah, I thought that was really cool as well. But I'll go with the Masters battle between Schauffele and Matsuyama. I think that was really cool.
So the other thing I wanted to bring up with you, where I think I like Bryson. I think Bryson is a great golfer. I think he's doing something that's great for the sport of golf. And he's a personality, good and bad. Like, he can get in his own way quite a bit, but he is a personality. What do you think? Do you think Bryson is maybe the biggest name with Tiger being out, because Tiger's not physically able to golf? Is Tiger now not I shouldn't say Tiger, but is Bryson now the big guy with golf? Like that's the star that we're selling every weekend. Do you think that's Bryson at this
No,
point?
no, 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 and I have a few reasons why.
Okay.
Bryson, don't get me wrong, is a polarizing figure, and he is. I mean, we know you're a simp for DeChambeau, and I respect that,
Well,
and that's awesome.
well, the reason sorry to interrupt you, but it's like the reason I say that is because I think he's a guy that the casuals know. Like if you're trying to get the
Oh,
casuals
well,
to
no doubt
watch
about that.
majors, pardon?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
No, I think you're right about that. That he is, he is what casual fans like. Like they're like, okay, this guy can hit it 360 yards. Like he's an absolute beast. No one can ever do that. No one's ever done that consistently, at least. And I would say, yeah, I would say he's one of the figures on tour to watch. But I wouldn't say you can't really put a label on a guy that you're like, okay, this is the guy we're gonna watch every week.
This is the guy we're marketing. Like this is the guy. This is going to be our star. Like Bryson's not that guy. It's a bunch of guys for you then.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think there's six. There's six guys that come to mind. And I'll just list them all quickly here.
Sure.
Justin Thomas, John Rahm, Dustin Johnson.
I think Tiger and Phil when they're healthy.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Well, Tiger and Phil are their own. That's their own echelon.
Sure. That's fair. That's fair.
They're their own league. I'm talking about there's these six guys in the middle. Bryson is one of them. Is one of those six guys for sure. But DJ, Rahm, Justin Thomas. I said Rahm. Yeah, I said so Morikawa, DeChambeau, and
Brooksy.
No, McIlroy. Brooks.
Oh no, you got to go. No, Brooksy's ahead of McIlroy, I think.
No, I don't think enough people like Brooks. So if the PGA Tour is trying to market,
I don't know if enough casuals know who McIlroy is. Yeah, like I think Koepka has a way better game offline, like off the course, online than McIlroy does, and that's why I think people like him more.
You think people like Koepka more than McIlroy?
I think so. I can make that an SYP poll, but I think more people like Koepka more than McIlroy.
I don't agree with that, but
okay.
Let's let the fans decide that.
Sure.
We'll do Koepka versus McIlroy. Who do people like more? So who would you rather? I guess it's a tough one. Who would you rather watch, or who would you rather?
Who do you like? I guess who do you like more as a person, as an individual?
I like that.
Like, because you have your six guys. Is that so? That's kind of where golf is right now. We have six guys who we're really marketing and we're really selling, and we're real like these are the six guys that we're really. I don't want to say leaning on, but in a way leaning on to help grow our sport.
I wouldn't say I can't limit it to just six guys. The PGA Tour now is so
wide open,
and there's so many. Even like every week, you'll see like, oh my god, this guy's like newish to a very casual fan. I follow it pretty closely, so I know a few guys better than some other people might. And
Kevin Knox,
yeah, Kevin Knox is one of them. Cameron Champ is a name that people don't really.
Oh yes, Kevin Knox. Actually, I think it's the basketball player, isn't he?
There's Kevin Kisner, who you're probably.
That's who I'm thinking of. Kevin Kisner.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So there's so many other guys that on any given week could put on a show and be in the top six. I'm just like the guys that I mentioned are just consistently there, and they're guys that I think are very enjoyable to watch and they're fun players. But it can't just be limited to just six players. There's so many people that could be there or on the list or around that.
That's fair. I don't have an argument with that. I wanted to know what your thought is because, I think you and I think like, not that we're against one another, but I think you and I see different, like not quite eye to eye, but maybe differently in some regards in that sense of like having your stars versus just the whole field, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, 100%. No, it takes, it's not one player that makes the league. It's a few players.
It takes an army.
Exactly.
The other question I wanted to throw at you, this was an interesting one. Let's say there was a commissioner of golf.
Sure.
The Gary Bettman of golf.
Well, it's Professional Golf Association, but okay.
Is that what it is? Okay, so basically, if you were the head of the PGA,
sure.
Is there anything you would change to the golf season, like the schedule, courses, timing of majors, actual gameplay. Like, is there something that's really bugging you in golf that you'd like to see changed if you got the opportunity to change it?
There's a thing. I think it was either Xander Schauffele or it might have been Justin Rose. It was either one of those two guys. They brought up a really interesting point about the length versus the width of golf courses. Length of golf courses, in essence, doesn't matter. Like, you can make it as long as you want. PGA Tour players will still rip it apart. It's having players make different shots. Like, you can have, for example, you can have an open course and you have you have like a 560-yard par 4, which for you and I is like a pretty long par 5, especially
That might be there all day,
especially at sea level. For those guys, a lot of those guys can hit that green in 2. Because you think about it, that's in pristine conditions. If they hit an average, let's say they hit an average 320-yard drive,
sure,
5/16, they only have 240 in. For some guys, that's like a 6-iron. Or
it's an 8-iron for Bryson.
It's an 8-iron. Well, exactly, it's an 8-iron for Bryson. I mean, well, there's a thing that I think it was what was his name? Luke Donald was giving him shit because. Did you see that post? It was really funny, actually.
I didn't see the post, but somebody was trying to tell me about it, and I wanted to search it up, but I didn't get the opportunity to.
Quick sidebar. So Luke Donald, former English golfer.
I think he's doing commentary now.
He's doing commentary now, I think, for the Golf Network or someone.
Yeah.
Anyways, so the reason why DeChambeau can hit his 8-iron 233 yards is because he de-lofts his club. So basically, 8-irons like pretty lofted. So he de-lofts it, so he makes it flatter. And because he swings so fucking hard, if you have a lofted club, he'll spin. This is the quote from Instagram: "Spin the shit out of the ball." Not a joke, which makes sense because he create so much swing speed, so his ball, it'll be out of control. So he has to de-loft it and get it lower, right? And because he comes so steep on the ball, he'll make it go higher, right? Anyways, so point is, Justin Thomas was funny. He gave a response. I was like, guys, like, let's have him, let's have a good story here. Let's see. Oh, Bryson can actually hit an 8-iron 233 yards. But my overarching point here is that making the course longer isn't going to do anything. You have to make it tighter. You have to make shots more interesting, make the rough a little more harder to get out of. You have to really kind of challenge these golfers in different ways other than hitting the ball further. Because with technology and how it is these days, guys can hit 320-yard drives without any issue.
Well, the other thing too, I think there's something to be said for, like, guys are taking care of themselves, like, physically, like their health is way better than they were 10 years ago, 20 years ago.
100%. Well, golfers are athletes at this point. You look at McNaughton in the gym; he's a beast. Yeah.
So I think there is something to be said for that.
Yeah.
I think if I had the opportunity to do something, I would try and simplify the rules a bit. For golf, because I think for, again, some casuals, some of the rules can be a bit confusing, like baseball in a way. Like, some of the rules can be confusing about, like, not grounding your club into sand, or like, can't, if somebody doesn't,
you still do it anyways, but whatever.
No, I get that, but I think if there's an opportunity to make things a little bit easier, people would follow golf a bit more. What I love about golf, and what I love what they did recently, I can't remember how many years ago, but I think they announced this, the new format, the new schedule, how we're doing it now, since golf got into the Olympics, was we have a major in April, May, June, and July.
Right.
August is usually, by the end of July, August is when the Olympics happen, if they do happen. Right. And the whole season's wrapped up by football season, which I think is smart. It's so smart because you're not competing with the NFL on Sundays. You have your peaks and valleys of interest throughout the spring and the summer with major events, with some smaller events, with the Olympics every 4 years. I think it makes a lot of sense. And I think it's a really great schedule that they have. So there's not a lot actually I would change to it. Maybe just making the rules simpler. Like, I think golf as a, smaller, I don't want to say niche sport, but, like, it's not one of the 4 major sports, but it still definitely has its place
Yeah.
in the sporting world today, especially as a television viewing experience, I think it's in a really good spot.
I think being at a golf course watching these guys live, I think that would be like an experience second. And I've never had the chance to go to a PGA tournament, but I think it'd be on the list. Waste Management Open, here we come. But that's in Arizona. That's with the 16th hole around the grandstand, or with the grandstand around it. That would be a good experience. But I agree with you. Like the schedule is really good. I mean, I grew up knowing the rules of golf. My dad kind of drilled it in my head when I was 12, 13 years old. So,
I was gonna say that's all my dad tried to teach me as a kid was like golf etiquette, and then we go play at Sumac. Yeah. And you saw Sumac, like we're trying to play golf etiquette at Sumac, and it's just okay.
Yeah, fair enough. Anyways, but yeah, I don't know. I think the PGA does a really good job with what they're doing, and they, I think the game's growing a lot. And as it should. It's golf's a great game. It's not the most physically demanding, and because you can play as a 67-year-old, but mentally it's one of the hardest sports in the world.
Well, and the other thing too, in terms of like from my looking at it from my perspective, like trying to sell it online or promote it on social media,
right?
Like there's a lot of interesting storylines when it comes to golf.
Oh, no doubt.
Especially during the major season.
Yep.
So that's our golf talk. I'm really glad we did that.
Yeah, that was needed. That was good.
We'll do a Ryder Cup preview here in a couple weeks when that kicks off, but I'm really excited for that. Should we talk hockey?
I think we should, and that's kind of why I'm here. I'm
all right.
The certified hockey expert of Speak Your Piece. So
you're our senior hockey correspondent?
Yes, I am not yet Bob McKenzie status, but I'm getting there.
I need some more insider information from you. So over the weekend, Jesperi Kotkaniemi did not get his offer sheet matched by the Montreal Canadiens. So he is now a Carolina Hurricane. The Hurricanes signed him for a 1 year, $6 million contract. So Kotkaniemi is off to Raleigh. A first and a third went to Montreal, but then Montreal flipped a first and a second, I believe, a 2022 second to the Arizona Coyotes for Christian Dvorak. Scott, we'll go kind of in parts here, but let's start with the Kotkaniemi offer sheet. Were you surprised that Montreal did not match that?
No, they can't afford that. They can't afford him. I don't think Kotkaniemi is worth $6.1 million. First of all, that's the biggest thing. He had a good playoff, don't get me wrong, but he's not worth $6 million by any stretch of the means. He could maybe be worth $4 million. I do like the move on Carolina's part. Giving up a first and a third is kind of steep.
Was it a first and a third or a first and a second? I want to pull that up.
No, it was a first and a third to Carolina.
Okay, the original one, yes.
And then Kotkaniemi went the other way.
Yes,
the offer sheet.
Pretty much a trade, yes.
In essence, yeah. So I like the move on Carolina's part. It gives them really good finish depth because they got.
Oh wow! Okay.
They got some good finish depth there.
Wow.
Not intended at all.
No, that was extremely intended. You knew what you were doing.
I did. Anyways, Aho, Tervainen, and Kotkaniemi, they're all there. I think that's a good setup, and I don't know, maybe being in a different environment, being kind of not as the go-to guy anymore. He's more of like a secondary piece. Whereas Montreal, I feel like he was kind of being pushed into being the guy, being a third overall pick.
Yeah.
Right? I think now Carolina's kind of got like a fresh start in a way. I think he'll thrive, especially with some Finnish guys that have a little more experience than he does. So,
well, so I thought when Kotkaniemi was given this original offer sheet, it's like, oh yeah, this makes sense. Like I get where Carolina's coming from here, where Carolina gets a talented player. I think Jesperi Kotkaniemi is a talented player.
Very. Oh, for sure.
He's only just a middle six forward right now, a middle six center right now.
Yep.
I think he can break through and score maybe 25, 30 goals in a year.
I think he's good for 50 points.
I think he's good for 50 points. Yeah, that was my next thing. 50 to 60 points. I think he can get 50 to 60 points. So in that regard, I think it's a really smart bet from the Hurricanes to say, yep, this guy is younger than me. He's 21 and he's younger than me. And we think we can make him that 50, 60, 20, 30 goal scorer. We think we can do that. So that I like. I think that makes sense from Carolina's perspective.
I agree.
And Montreal,
sorry, go ahead.
Montreal also gets quality draft capital from that deal with Kotkaniemi.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
With a first-round pick and a third-round pick.
And a first-round pick next year, which is supposed to be a loaded draft class. But we'll talk about that in a few months.
We'll talk about that later on down the road. It's supposed to be better than at least this year's, which was very hit and miss. So a smart bet from Carolina, an understandable move from Montreal's perspective, who did not have $6 million to just hand out to a guy like Kotkaniemi and what he is right now. Because that's what this move, I think, is about for Montreal, is right now.
Yeah,
it's a short-term play.
No doubt. Yeah, no doubt about it.
And they just didn't have $6 million to throw around to Kotkaniemi. So I think it makes a lot of sense. And I don't know if Montreal's gonna regret it. They might, but I don't think that's also who Bergevin is. I don't think he's the type of dude to give him feel pity for not doing that. I think he kind of understands what the situation is right now. It's like I was stuck between a rock and a hard place, and I just couldn't pull the trigger on a deal like that.
Yeah, and I think the loss of Danault is gonna sting him more than Kotkaniemi. But that, anyways, now let's talk about the guy they did get.
Okay.
And that's Christian Dvorak, who was sent to Montreal in exchange for a first and second round pick. The first round pick was this in 2022 draft. The second round pick's 2023, I believe.
I think it's 2024. I could be wrong.
Okay, it's 1 year after. Anyways, the point is, it's still a second round pick.
So the first round pick to Arizona.
Yes.
It's basically the highest pick between Montreal and Carolinas.
Oh, I see. So it's conditional-ish.
It's conditional-ish, but if both picks are in the top 10, then Arizona gets the lower pick, if that makes sense.
Got it. Okay.
So Dvorak, that was a bit steep of a price that I would pay for Christian Dvorak. I like Christian Dvorak. I think he's kind of like Kotkaniemi needs that place to shine that isn't Arizona.
Right.
I just don't know if first and a second is what I would give up for Christian Dvorak. That's
you give up. That is more than what you paid. What you got for Kotkaniemi. So I guess the real question is, who's a better player, Dvorak or Kotkaniemi? That's the real question here.
Well, I think Dvorak is the better player right now.
Well, there you go, and that's why a first and second was given up, right?
I guess that's why. I just think that's a steep price for somebody. And the other thing I think that should be talked about is that centers are really hard to find. It's tough to find a good center.
Two-way centers with size that can score and have a bit of an edge are near to impossible to find unless you draft them. And the fact you traded for one is pretty good. And I will say, I think Dvorak fills a need that Kotkaniemi wouldn't have with the loss of Danault. That's my hot take on this.
Yeah.
And Dvorak is better defensively than Kotkaniemi is. There's no doubt about that in my mind. And again, you have Suzuki as your one. That's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Dvorak's your two. And then you have the rest of your roster down below. But point is, Dvorak right now is, I wouldn't say an elite 2C, but he's a good quality 2C.
He's a high quality 2C.
On that team, 100%.
Yeah. Well, and I think the other thing to keep in mind with the Habs in general, it's just they're not an elite offensive scoring juggernaut.
No.
That's just not how they're set up.
No, there's no way.
And I think that's how they want it to be set up. I think that's how they've been, Bergevin's been building this team.
Yeah.
So I don't think this is by mistake.
No.
Maybe getting to the Stanley Cup Finals was a mistake that nobody ever saw happening, but it happened. So I guess my point is, it's a bit for the actual asset of Christian Dvorak. That's a bit much for somebody who hasn't scored 40 points in a season yet. But for the things that he brings, as in like he's a second line center who we talked about, a high quality second line center.
Yeah.
Who can do what Montreal wants to do.
Yeah.
Who's getting out of Arizona because it's just they're going to be tanking this year. Makes a lot of sense. I
yeah. Yep.
Totally see that. Why?
Yep.
I guess we should also talk about the Coyotes a little bit from their perspective on this deal.
Well, I will say the Coyotes are loaded with draft capital and shit contracts. So you tell me what they're trying to do. They're gonna tank.
Oh, I know what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
They've been like, this is what I said the Sabres should be doing is just picking up shitty like being the dumpster fire with everybody's bad contracts and taking draft capital or like prospects for said contracts.
Right.
And just, taking 2 or 3 years off, 4 years off, 5 years off at most.
Right. Yeah, the Coyotes, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, they're talking about moving to Tempe now, building an arena in Tempe and
Tempe.
Tempe. You're the Arizona expert here, so you should probably talk about this. But
so pretty much what's going to happen. So this is their last year in Glendale at their current arena. It's going to be really tough to sell your team to a new venue. I mean, they've been talking about building a new arena in Tempe with Arizona State University because they have a pretty solid up and coming hockey team.
Yeah.
Which I think makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know when that's going to be built. I don't know when they're coming in, et cetera, et cetera. Like, I don't know how long that arena could be built. They could agree on that tomorrow and it's not built until 2024.
Who knows? Yeah. You never know.
So now this year, the Coyotes are trying to sell themselves, I'm sure, to different venues to say, we need to play here for X amount of time until we can get a new proper arena. And they're going to be really bad this year. Like, they could be, I think there's a good chance they could be the worst team in the league this year.
Yeah, there is. And people aren't projecting that. But yeah, they gave up a lot of three of their better players in this offseason. Kemper, Ekman-Larsson, and Garland are all gone.
And Phil Kessel could be the next one. Clayton Keller could also be gone.
Could be gone too, yeah.
So
yep.
I think from the actual hockey perspective, the Dvorak deal makes a lot of sense because I don't know how many other teams are giving up a first-round pick for him. And I think you're just trying to collect a whole bunch of assets to be, good in 5 years from now. A bunch of drafted capital to be good in 5 years from now. So this makes a lot of sense.
No doubt about it.
All right. Do you want to talk about some recent hockey signings?
Yeah, there's a few. Farabee from Philadelphia, he got signed.
Yes.
That was what?
6 years, $30 million, so a $5 million AAV.
I like it.
I think it works for Philadelphia.
He's only getting better, so
they've actually done a really nice job these last few years. Or I should say last few years, almost like the last 18 months since COVID, because they've re-signed Lawton, I believe.
Yep.
They've re-signed Sean Couturier.
Yeah, Couturier got a big deal, 8 years, $56 million for him.
And now you got Farabee. So you have this core. I know you traded Voracek to Columbus earlier this year
for Atkinson, which I don't know if that's a loss.
I don't think that's, I think you've at least you're still even. Like, I don't think you're losing, like you say. It's not a loss. You're still even.
Yep.
So with that being said, do you think the Flyers make the playoffs this year? Is that where this team goes? That has to be what they're thinking when they make that trade.
Honestly, it's that's a tough one. The Flyers, like any team, are going to have to rely on their goalie. And their goalie, as we both know, can be really fucking good.
He can be.
And Carter Hart is probably number one on my list in terms of guys that need a rebound season. And he will have that rebound season. He might even be a Vezina candidate. I'm going to say it right now. I have no problem saying it.
No, If in a normal year with a better defensive unit in front of him, I think that's not out of the realm of possibility.
I mean, Provorov Ristolainen is pretty shit, but
It's
that was another podcast we talked about.
That was another podcast. It's ideally you're hoping for improvement. You're hoping everybody bounces back.
Oh, I think the Flyers will improve. I think they'll make playoffs. And Hart's going to be better, and I think that's going to be a big part of the Flyers' success. I don't think they'll be the top seed in that division, though there's other teams that are better. Yeah, the Islanders will.
It's a really loaded division.
Oh, that division's stupid. Yeah, it's actually stupid. Buffalo will be really good. No, sorry, not Buffalo. Yeah, it's not Buffalo. The Islanders. Yeah, like Buffalo.
Islanders, Boston, I think will still be somewhat good.
Boston's the Atlantic. That's not Metro.
I'm sorry, not Boston. Yeah. Who am I thinking of? Pittsburgh. Sorry.
Pittsburgh will still be pretty good.
Thinking of the wrong gold and black team.
Yeah, the Rangers might actually make some noise. The Flyers will be up there for sure.
Columbus, New Jersey. I think New Jersey and Columbus are probably like the two teams who
New Jersey's a sleeper team, especially if Blackwood can play well. And if he comes back and puts himself into Olympic team contention for Team Canada, which some people have him as their third goalie. I don't personally, but
he's not my third goalie.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, we know who your third goalie is. Anyways,
Jordan Binnington.
You said Carter Hart. Anyways, we'll talk about that later. But if the Devils can have some sort of run with Hamilton's now there, they had a good offseason. They had a pretty good draft as well. So who knows, right? We'll see what happens in New Jersey. But I think the point of all of this, Flyers should make the playoffs hopefully this year.
So the other deal there's two other deals that I have down that we should talk about. The other one I really wanted to discuss is Drake Batherson signing a 6-year, $29.9 million, so a $4.98 million AAV with Ottawa. That's a good deal for Ottawa, is it not? I like Batherson as a player. I think that's a good deal.
Ottawa wins the deal. Yeah, are you kidding?
Yeah,
Batherson's probably worth a bit more than that. I think he's better player than Farabee. Not by much, but I think he's better.
Well, I think that's probably like the same deal that Montreal would probably have to give the Kotkaniemi.
Oh, in terms of term and money, yeah.
Terms of money, I think that's probably what Kotkaniemi's looking for. And
I've liked Batherson too. He's ever since the 2018 World Junior, he's really stood out to me. He's a shooter, man, and him and Stützle have great chemistry, and they'll be fun passer and shooter right there. That'll be a good combo for a couple years now. Hopefully Batherson can put up 30 goals one year and secure the bag after this contract.
And maybe Brady Tkachuk will get signed.
That would be a pretty lethal line, actually.
It's a fun line. That's a fun line to consider.
Tkachuk, Stützle, and Batherson. That's a good power play setup, though. Put Chabot and Norris on there, too. So that's stupid.
It's a pretty good deal.
Pretty good.
The other contract, the final one I at least want to mention, my guy Filip Hronek, 3 years, $13.2 million with the Red Wings. He re-signs there with a 4.4 AAV, which is the lowest AAV out of the three guys I mentioned, which is probably fair. Should I be talking about this signing because I watched?
This is your guy. He is your, unfortunately, first pairing defenseman on the Wings, which isn't, to be honest, that good. He's not that good of a player. He's probably in reality a top 4 defenseman on most teams, but
I was gonna say he's like I don't think he's only been playing on the top pair because they don't you can't be playing
top pairing defenseman. Yeah,
you can't be playing Mark Stahl and Troy Stetcher on the top pair.
No.
But I like the deal for the Red Wings. I think that's a good term. I think Yzerman's been signing, a lot of these kind of medium-term 3-year deals for a reason. I think the 4.4 million AAV is about right for his, skill set. He's like the, Thomas Chabot's, the Quinn Hugheses of the world. I don't know if he's quite in that elite category. He might just be in like the 1B, kind of Paul George, like really, really good, but not 1A type, if you know what I mean.
Sure. I think that's not a good comparison, but
it's not like, I'm just trying to compare to like, because obviously like when you think of like these big mobile two-way offensive defenseman. You know what I'm talking about? Like the McCars and the Hughes and the Shabbats. Miro Heiskanen is another guy. Like I don't think Hronik is on that level, but I think the dude is really good.
I would compare him more to Esa Lindell. I think that's a better comparison.
I think he's better than that, but I'm also biased. So you shouldn't be listening to my opinion in that regard. But
I think you're right. I think Hronik is better than Lindell. Lindell plays in a better system in situation in Dallas.
Sure.
But I'm just comparing like the type of player and in this sort of level that they're both at. Hronik's like a third defenseman on a team, and him and Hronik are both should be third defenseman on a team, but Hronik plays like a first defenseman because he's the only guy that can do it. So, anyways,
Philip Hronik is really good. Just throwing that out there in case anybody didn't think otherwise. If you decide if like the Red Wings are actually going to like, I don't know if they'll be good. Like they might be just better than usual this upcoming season.
Right. If
you watch more Red Wings games, I think people would really get to know who Hronik is and like how talented he actually is. Is there any other hockey move signings you wanted to discuss before we move on here?
No, but we should definitely do our season preview pod sooner than later.
We will. I wasn't worried about that. Well, maybe that's what our most of our Thursdays will be. Because I'm assuming that we're looking at doing our Thursday schedule, so we can release Friday pods. Maybe that's what that'll be.
I think that's good.
All right. I'm going to do a quick college football
recap.
People
the content for the weekend, right?
Pretty much. Exactly. I'm going to do a quick college football recap because it was week 1 this past week.
And someone forgot to do it on selections. But
that's okay. We still love them. Good Lord. Notre Dame has blown their lead to Florida State. It is now 38-38 as we record. Notre Dame had 21 third quarter points. Florida State now has 18. So we are tied at 38 in that game. But the other big scores I wanted to mention in college football this weekend include Notre Dame. I wanted to include that because I'm wearing the hoodie. Ohio State beat Minnesota. Georgia beat Clemson. Scott, your Oregon Ducks beat Fresno State. Congrats. Do you care at all about college football? Or do you know anything about?
No. Jameis Winston still plays for Florida State, right? Sorry, that was 2014. Sorry.
Montana beat Washington.
That's not good. I know that's not good.
That's not good. Utah State beat Washington State.
Also not good.
East Tennessee State beat Vanderbilt.
Wow. Okay.
And one of my favorite games of the week, UCLA beat LSU at the Rose Bowl.
Wow.
Yeah.
UCLA is a basketball school. They're not supposed to beat LSU.
Well, you know who's coaching UCLA?
Jim Harp? No, that's Michigan. No, I don't know who it is.
Chip Kelly.
Really?
Yeah, another former 49ers coach is coaching at UCLA.
Nice place to live, I guess. Nice place to go to school.
Yeah, I don't think I've been to the Rose Bowl, but I've been to like the Westwood UCLA campus. It's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Should I also mention how my Manners are close to the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean the Jays just swept the Athletics.
Well, and by the way, thank you for doing that because as a Manners fan, we needed that help. The Manners are 3 games back in the playoff. The Blue Jays are 4 games back.
See,
in the wild card.
It's a tight race. We're chilling. We'll be good. It's gonna be a fun finish into baseball, no doubt about that, especially in the AL.
Go Mariners.
Go Mariners. No go.
You wanted also we should talk about some entertainment, some music.
Yeah, talking to some people this weekend, we're trying to grow the entertainment aspect, and I think this podcast, there's going to be some good discussions here.
I think Rav and I, SYP creator Rav, I think he wants to do like a full deep dive on the album. So him and I might actually just do a whole podcast dedicated to the albums.
I like it.
What are the 2 obviously albums that we're mostly talking about? Drake and Kanye West.
Yes.
Favorite songs from each album. We'll talk about the Drake album first. What's your favorite song from the Drake album?
Oh, wow. From Certified Lover Boy, which is the name of the album, which came out on September 3rd. My favorite song is probably Fair Trade with Travis Scott.
Okay.
Poppy's Home's pretty good too. That's just Drake going off. Yeah, those two. I don't know. I like the beat. I like Drake was kind of going hard in them. Yeah, I think those two kind of stood out to me. I haven't given it a full like proper listen, but I've given I've gotten through most of it, and those are the two that stood out to me for sure.
Certified boy lover, as Rav said. I like Fair Trade. I think Fair Trade's my favorite. I discussed which one was it? I gotta find it here. We talked about it. Ty Dollar Sign song. I think was probably my second favorite.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, went Get Along Better with Ty Dollar Sign. No Friends in the Industry is good. Champagne Poetry. I actually liked. I don't know if people like that one, but I thought the opening song was good.
That's fair. That's fair.
I thought it was good. Okay. Yeah. Do you have a least favorite song from the Drake album from Certified Lover Boy?
I don't know. Yeah, Champagne. I don't know. I didn't love Champagne Poetry. I don't like when I haven't listened to a full album, it's hard for me to say, oh, I don't like this song. Like they're all fine. It's just
I think I was gonna say I think the thing is that us being like white suburban kids, I don't know where exactly the experts on saying what's good and not, but at least we have our own opinion.
Yeah, and everyone's entitled to that, right? And
exactly.
I don't know. I think I don't have like a least favorite song. They're all fine. They're all good.
Do you have a favorite feature? Is it the Travis Scott feature? Is that your favorite feature?
I'd say so. As of right now, yeah. I'd say the Travis one's really good. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's easy.
Kanye album, Donda. Yeah. What's your favorite song from that?
That's tough. Hurricane with The Weeknd and Lil Baby for sure. For sure. People know I'm a religious The Weeknd fan, and when I first, because again on Donda they don't like tell you the features, it's just the song title.
Yeah, it's kind of a dick move by Kanye, really.
Whatever. When I first heard that song, I was like, holy shit, this actually is this is a great song, and
this song slaps.
This song slaps. Yeah, that one, Hurricane, definitely my favorite. I also like Off the Grid.
Okay.
Off the Grid's really good. Jail Part 1, I like. The baby part's okay.
No, I was gonna say Jail Part 1's my favorite.
It's yeah.
I mean, the baby part is fine. Sure, okay, fair enough. Whatever.
Fine, yeah. I also like Jonah's pretty good too.
I like Jonah. I actually enjoyed listening to that.
I'll talk about two more. So I like what he did with Television, but Television from Pop Smoke's album is way better.
Yeah.
I still like what he did in the Donda version of Television.
Yes.
And I'll end off with Moon, which features Don Toliver. Probably one of the most, I think in concert, that would be like unbelievable. The first half of Moon would be unbelievable in concert. Yeah. I like the Donda album has some real some songs that are like, okay, these are actual bangers.
So you like Donda more than Certified Lover Boy?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll say it. I will say as of right now, I have more songs downloaded from Donda than I do from Certified Lover Boy.
That's all I needed to hear.
However, it's still early. CLB came out 2 days ago or 3 days ago, whatever it was. So
yeah,
still too early to say. But as of right now, yeah, I have more songs from Donda. I think Donda's got better features. I mean, when The Weeknd's in an album, like it's automatically one of my favorite albums, anyways. But yeah.
Do you have a least favorite Donda song?
Donda Chant. It's annoying.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, that's a good answer. Really good answer. I don't even know.
I was like, when I heard this, I was like, okay, fuck, this album's gonna suck. And
yeah, no, that's a terrible opening song. I'll admit that. I know that for sure. That's a terrible opening song. I am not afraid to say that.
Like,
Don't do that again, Kanye.
It would have been hype if Television was the first song and it was like a short little snippet of it. That
Sure.
would have been sick, but like Donda chant, really? Like, I don't know. Didn't understand why,
but he's Kanye's a lyrical genius.
What's your favorite?
So what do I know?
You said Jail, right? What's your favorite song?
Jail's my favorite. I don't know. Donna Chant's probably my least favorite.
Okay. Well, at least we agree on that.
Any other final thoughts? Music, Drake, Kanye album. We can talk about. We have a mailbag question, so maybe we'll go to the mailbag and you can.
Sure. Well, I think that mailbag question's mine, but
yeah, no, you're the only one who asked mailbag questions. But I do want to. I do
have one from an external source who I will not name.
It's a Keith.
Well, he's my roommate, so yeah, of course.
You just say Keith. Just say Keith. Like, you don't have to, like, I know that you're trying to do the Friedman thing of like protecting your sources.
Yeah, of course.
But like, it's Keith.
It's from Keith. Do you want me to ask it first, or want me to ask?
Sure, ask the Keith question first.
Hey, Keith's question is: when is Ian getting back on Tinder?
No, I'm good. The fascinating thing about it is that, city girls go crazy.
Okay.
No, it's not my thing. There's too many people, that I've already, and then no response or no match. So like, right. I feel like I'm wasting my time when I could be writing a blog, and I feel like a blog is more successful to my love life than Tinder.
One man's opinion. Fair enough. Anyways, so Ian's not going back to Tinder for a long time. That's good.
There you go.
Fair enough.
Do you want me to get to the mailbag questions here? Should we do that?
Sure.
All right. Let me get to the mailbag. Give me a second. All right. So Scott, you had 2 questions. I really like these questions, by the way. Like, I'm glad you asked these questions. Golf course you've always wanted to play anywhere in the world. Do you have a course that you were thinking specifically? Because I actually do have a course.
You do? Okay.
And my course is St. Andrews in Scotland.
Okay. Yep.
I think kind of like Augusta National is like in its own echelon.
I would agree with that. Yeah. Yeah.
Like how we were talking about with Phil and Tiger. Yep. Or how I talk about like Dodger Stadium is like an upper echelon like stadium that you have to go see if you're a baseball fan.
Sure. I would put Yankee Stadium in that picture too.
Not New Yankee Stadium. New Yankee Stadium, you don't
okay,
have
anyways,
to.
But you've been there, so
I've been there, so I can tell you. But in terms of golf courses, St. Andrews.
Okay.
I would love to go play St. Andrews, go play a links course in Scotland.
Yeah.
Maybe when the weather's not as nice. So it's like the real deal links golf.
Sure.
I think that would be really cool.
Okay. Cool.
You have a golf course you're thinking of?
I have 3. There's 3 that come to mind. There is a course in Africa where...
Well, I think I know which one you're talking about.
For the 19th hole, you fly up in a helicopter up to, I think it's a 400-meter cliff.
Yes.
And it's a par 3. It's like a 320-yard par 3, but get this. It's 400 meters down. So you're going to hit driver, but you're going to get there. And the green is in the shape of the African continent. This is in South Africa. This is true. This is legit. You can go look this up. I've always wanted, it'd be cool. It'd be like the coolest shot of a lifetime. So that would be really cool. I think that's one for sure. It's not a PGA Tour course by any means, but it just to be able to say, oh, you did that. Yeah, I hit a 400-yard drop shot into the heart of Africa. I think that's the name of the hole or the course or whatever. Anyways, yeah, it's in Africa. Looks like a great time. That's one for sure. There's 2 others. Course called Cabo del Sol in Los Cabos, Mexico. Drove by it a few times. I went to the range and hit balls. Never had a chance to play it. I think that's when I want to go back and play at. It's Oceanside in Los Cabos in the dry heat. I think it'd be fun to play. The third one, wow. I'm gonna say Augusta. Augusta National. I think that's a tough course. I think it's just like it's an easy answer, but it's one of those courses like
it's the right answer though. That's the thing, is that it's the right answer.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with Augusta National, and again, it's the course, the Masters course, right? It's second to none, right?
Second to none.
Yep.
Second question you asked: Team Drake or Team Kanye?
Okay.
I don't know if it could be either one of them like their teams.
Yeah.
I think how I am, I'm just like, nah, I'll do my own thing. Like, I'll listen to your music, but I don't want to be a part of your entourage.
Right. I got you. That makes sense.
Oh, and maybe even more Kanye. Like, I wouldn't want to be a part of Kanye's because I think that dude's actually like got like mental.
He's straight wilding, dude.
He's wilding, and maybe not always good days. Maybe, going to the White House with a "Make America Great" hat, great again hat, not the best look.
Fair enough, yeah.
But I'm kind of just I'm gonna stay in the neutral. I'm gonna stay right down the middle. I'm gonna be
okay. Hey, fair enough.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm Canadian. Drake's Canadian. I
love Degrassi.
I've never seen Degrassi, but that's a little.
We should do that as a pod one time. Is have a Degrassi film study, and then we review Degrassi.
Make that some of our new entertainment.
Yeah, we just go and review people submit shows that are on Netflix or movies.
Oh, speaking of Netflix, Seinfeld, which is actually I'm gonna watch Seinfeld when it comes out in October.
Oh, good for you!
I'm gonna watch Seinfeld. I'm committed to it.
You can finally understand half of my references.
Yes, finally, I know.
When we actually have conversations, that's gonna be really that's key. That's key.
Oh, of course. So anyway, yes, I'm okay. But no, I'm in terms of the Drake Kanye thing, I'm kind of with you too. I don't want to be on one of either side. Both their music is awesome.
They're both
fantastic music.
Yes, I'm not arguing that.
Drake's Canadian. I'm always gonna support Drake, but Kanye, I can't choose one here. It's just I don't know. They gotta hash it out, and eventually they'll be fine. They've been on a song together. We actually looked this up before, so
yeah, they're fine.
I don't have. Yeah, I'm team both. I guess. Team the Donda album was better than Certified Lover Boy, but they're both great artists. So
yeah, you know what? I agree with that. We'll end on a positive note. We'll end on agreement.
I like it.
You could tell this is a Canadian podcast where we're agreeing on stuff at the very end.
Yeah, no doubt.
Scott, any final thoughts before we head out here on this Sunday night?
Nope.
Awesome.
We're
good. Great stuff, bro. Good chatting with you. Good
I will say it's good to be back in the Okanagan, and I'm really excited to see some people at school next week.
Who are you most anticipated? Can't wait to see. Who are you highly excited to see that you haven't seen in a long time?
Kieran McBride.
Oh God,
1,000%. That man is he's a beautiful man. I think I'm gonna see him tonight. Actually, he's
that dude
that man.
He lives on the edge in a good way.
Pure man rocket.
Absolutely.
Right. I have no problem saying that.
That's a good answer.
Thank you.
All right, that's the podcast for September 5th. Thank you very much for listening. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to us. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast. We're recording again Thursday night. Is that the plan still right now?
Maybe. Depends on we'll chat. We'll figure it out.
Okay. So there's at least one more podcast coming out this week. Probably two, but at least one more for sure that you can check out on Tuesday or Wednesday. We'll let you know. Thank you very much again for watching. Thank you again to Scott. Thanks, Scott. We'll be back again soon. Peace out.